Hey everyone, this is Joanne coming to you live from New York. I'm also known as #UnicornBoss. So as you guys are jumping online tonight, go ahead and hit me up with some unicorn emojis because those are my jam. If you're grabbing me live, go ahead and leave me a number 1. And if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and leave me a number 2. So super excited tonight, you guys. I wanted to pop on just real quickly here. Normally on Wednesdays on my page, we do something kind of unique and fun. It's called Win It Wednesday. So I give you the opportunity to ask me your keto questions, and then I just pull a few questions to do for the live video for our topic at night. So I've got 2 really great questions here that people have been asking me kind of lately because the holidays are coming up, and I thought we would go over them together and just have a little bit of fun together. I know a lot of you are with your families and you're getting ready for the big holiday, so we won't keep you too long tonight. Sending you a big hug and lots of love. So as you're jumping online, welcome you guys. Don't forget to say hi. Let me know where you're coming in from. Leave me a number 1 for catching me live, and then the replay is going to be a number 2. And by the way, if you're a brand new friend, don't forget to comment new below so that way I can circle back around and say hi to you. I've got a ton of brand new friends. Welcome to my page. I'm so excited and happy to have you. And I try to go through and give as many of you as I can a personalized welcome. So how's everybody doing? You guys ready for the holidays? If you're going to stick to keto on your Thanksgiving, go ahead. If you're keto, comment keto. And then if you're going to stay keto for your Thanksgiving, let me know that as well. So let me go ahead and say hi to a few people real quick here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about alcohol and keto and what to do if you're stuck at a weight loss stall. So those are 2 really good topics. I get a lot of questions about them, so hope you guys will enjoy the content tonight. By the way, if you love my page and you have a lot of fun and you learn lots of things about keto here, make sure you go ahead and give the video a quick share. I so appreciate your love and support. This one can totally be shared to keto groups, so if you have a favorite keto group and you want to introduce me to them, I would love to be shared there. Thank you so much. So by the way, my tripod's totally breaking, so we may have to fight with this the entire video. I'm sorry. All right, let's see who we got here. Hi, Lisa, Craig, Shabless, Barbara, Amanda. Hey, girl, Lisa, Craig. Let's see who else we got. Matt, Christy, Amanda, Tamara. I always say your name wrong. I'm so sorry, sweet sister. So welcome. Happy to have you. Hi, Todd. So welcome, Jessica. I'll have to read your comment after because it's like half cut off there. So, okay. Oh man, the tripod's really gonna mess with me all night. I might have to hold it here. I'm so sorry. I'll try not to keep it moving around. It broke right before I was about to press the live button. #real talk, you guys. And I'm like, I think I fixed it. I think it's okay. It's clearly not okay. I need a new tripod for Christmas. Okay. So first questions first, I'm getting some questions because we're getting close to the holidays now, right, you guys? People are asking me, can I have alcohol on keto? So do you guys, kind of test the waters? Do people miss drinking while you're keto? Feel free to go ahead and comment and kind of share with me. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Before I was keto and I was a carb machine, I really loved to drink beer. So that was kind of my jam, and I still do love it, but of course, most beers are not really keto. It's probably the worst drink you can pick if you were going to kind of flirt with having a drink here and there, and if you wanted to do something for the holidays that wasn't going to totally bust your keto journey and mess up, all the hard work you put in. Definitely beer is not the way to go. So we're going to talk about why that is and a few options here. So the short answer is that yes, you can have alcohol, of course, in moderation. And yeah, like Todd said, straight liquor is okay. So if you're going to do it, I'm going to walk you through some of the straight liquor options and what the carbs kind of look like for some of them. Of course, it's going to be completely different for whichever one you pick, but these are just kind of generic things for you to kind of keep in mind. So the short order is yes. You can do it in moderation, just like you can do, artificial sweeteners in moderation and things like that. Remember that there are carbs in alcohol. So, if you're only sticking to 20 to 25 grams of total carbs per day, it's really easy to get off track if all of a sudden you start incorporating alcohol in the mix too, because some of these things have anywhere from maybe 2 to 4 grams of carbs, and that's a quarter of your carbs for the day all of a sudden. So what you might find is if you feel like you want to unwind and treat yourself to a little bit of a spirit, you might have to kind of back off on you know, maybe a snack or something that you might typically have to kind of compensate for the extra carbs that you're going to be putting in on the liquor. So yeah, and there are no carbs in straight liquor, absolutely, Todd, so you're right. So that's why it's important to stick with the spirits. So remember, if you do drink a lot, you know, alcohol, not straight alcohol, but you know, alcohol in general is essentially kind of like pure sugar. There's a lot of calories in it, and your body is always going to burn the alcohol first. So if you go overboard, it can take a few days to really recover from that, and it's really going to put a damper on your health journey for the holidays. So, okay. So what is keto friendly? I know we talked about it already. Pure alcohol or spirits are best. You know, if you want, I would suggest doing like a half of a cup instead of going right in with a full cup. By the way, quick side note, and you guys, if you feel comfortable and you want to share here, yeah, so I'm going to talk about that too as well, Todd. So be careful. When you're keto, you will notice that you will get a little tipsy a lot faster. So, you know, maybe you used to be able to drink, I don't know, 4 beers. You may find like after, you know, just a little bit, it goes a long way because your body is not used to having those kinds of things in your diet. So be really careful. Most people that are in ketosis will get tipsy very quickly. And then like Todd said, I know for me, the first thing I want to do is eat. I want the munchies, I want the pizza and all of the carby things. So just be mindful of that as well. So the spirits that, you know, are suggestion typically are things like gin, rum, vodka, whiskey, tequila, scotch, brandy, and cognac. You know, an ounce and a half, 1.5 fluid ounces are 0 carbs, and that's considered 1 serving. So those would be kind of safe choices for you. I typically don't do the hard stuff, but you know, if you're feeling like if you have a really tough day and you want to have just a little bit, it's not gonna, I mean, make you really tipsy, but you're going to be fine. So, you know, if you're at a party tomorrow and they're offering, you know, alcoholic beverages, see if you can stick with some of those. So, and if you want to share with me what some of your favorites are, I would love to hear it. Another option for you might be doing a glass of red wine. 5 fluid ounces is typically 4 grams of carbs. So you could do it in moderation here and there. It is quite a bit of carbs, so you might have to back off on, you know, some of your other additional carbs for the day. Just cut out a snack or something like that. White wine, same thing. For 5 fluid ounces, it's 4 grams of carbs. And be careful with some of the white wines. You don't want to do like a Zinfandel because those are like, or it's a really sweet wine, so it needs to be like a dry wine. And then worst case scenario, if you really are a beer lover and you were gonna cheat, you know, make sure you're sticking to a light beer, and it's super carby. So 12 ounces of light beer has 6 grams of carbs. So if you half that, if you do half of a light beer, at least then it's only 3 grams of carbs. So it might get the urge off and you can still enjoy it without totally destroying your diet. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Hopefully you learned a few things. I get this question all the time, but what about alcohol and keto? So I did a little bit of research tonight. I particularly don't really indulge too often. So I figure honestly, if I'm gonna have alcohol, you guys, I'm just like all in because I kind of feel like it's pointless. So, but some things that you can't have. So if you're curious and you wanna know some of the alcohols that are not okay, you definitely can't do the sugary mixed drinks. So, you know, whiskey sours, sugary syrups, grenadine, frozen mixes, things like that are a no. No flavored alcohols, no juices, no added fruits, no syrups. Sweet wines are a no. So actually my favorite wine ever is a Moscato, and it's definitely on the no list because it's super sweet and sugary. Moscatos, port sherries, dessert wine, sangrias, and Zinfandels. So, and of course, just regular old good German beer. It's a no. So yeah, is Fireball out? Actually, thanks for sharing that. That's actually one of the only harder liquors that I enjoy. So I guess it's full of sugar. So good to know. So yeah, those are my best suggestions for you, tips and tricks wise, alcohol wise. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, I've been getting a lot of questions about as well, is a lot of people will say, well, I've stopped losing weight. It's been a while. I've hit a stall. What can I do to kind of like amp up and reset the weight loss situation. So I've got some ideas here for you. There's almost limitless things, and you could really talk about this topic forever and ever. So I'm just going to keep it brief and fun. But if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in here as we're going live, and we can go over them together. So first things first, I talked about this a few videos ago. I think it was actually last Wednesday. I talked about going dairy free. So you might want to try first step, cutting out some dairy. Not necessarily even going hardcore no dairy, but if you find you're eating an awful lot of cheeses and sour creams and heavy creams, like I know for a while there, all I was snacking on was cheese, and like of course I started to get bloated and I kind of stopped losing weight. So yeah, you can have cheese as a snack and you can cook with cheese, but like make sure you're getting your proteins and your other high fats in there as well. And yes, like Todd said, intermittent fasting is really key. That changed the game for me. So, I wouldn't suggest it if you're brand new in the beginning, but if you've been doing keto for a while, intermittent fasting is a really great way to do it. So, have a nice, what I like to do is a 16-8 fast, 16 hours fasted, 8 hours in an eating window. So, I'll have dinner at I tend to eat late, so 8 or 9 o'clock at night. That'll be my last meal. I'll make sure it's nice and high in fat, nice and high in protein, and that fat will really sustain me all night long. And then I can pretty much fast through till lunchtime, 12 or 1 o'clock before I even start to begin to feel hungry. And it comes very natural as you start to learn to increase your healthy fats. So, and that's another neat little trick too. If you happen to overindulge a little bit tomorrow for Thanksgiving, maybe you might have a few bites or go over the top, and you'll have the tendency to be really upset at yourself. Just fast from whenever your last meal is. See if you can go from dinner to dinner and just have a lot of water, add in your electrolytes, your pink Himalayan salt, and just hit that hard with a fast, and it will help your body to recover from any kind of little minor cheats there. So the next thing I have is upping your fat intake, which is super important. I talked about this almost every night in my videos about how, remember, if you want to burn fat, it takes fat to burn fat. So for me, what really blew up my keto journey was tracking my macros and getting myself up over 100 grams of fat every day. It was really hard to do in the beginning, but now I can do it with nothing, because especially like Todd said, I do a bulletproof coffee in the morning. So I add a tablespoon of grass-fed butter. I do a tablespoon of coconut oil, high quality MCT oil. I add an additional supplement in that gets me another 12 grams of fat. So I can have almost 40 grams of fat just in my morning coffee. So it's really easy to do once you kind of know what kinds of fats you enjoy and how easy they are to incorporate in your day. So for sure. So try and get your fats up. When I set up my fat macros, and my favorite app to use is Senza. So if you enjoy not a carb app, but if you enjoy tracking your macros and you want to share with me what your favorite tracking app is, feel free to go ahead and do that here. I love Senza. It's free. It's got some really cool features. My favorite thing about Senza is when I'm experimenting with brand new recipes, I can literally scan the ingredients while I'm cooking, and then they just collapse into the recipe. So it's super easy to make recipes with. I also really like that app because when you are traveling, let's say, you're going on a road trip and you want to stop somewhere and get fast food, you can literally look up the restaurant or the fast food place and it'll give you keto suggestions, which I think is super useful when you're brand new, or even if you're seasoned like me. I get bored of eating the same things. So sometimes I'll just go in the app to see if it suggests anything fun that I would have maybe not picked up on my own, which is really cool. So thank you so much for sharing, Julie. I appreciate it. So yeah, when I do my macros, I'm supposed to be up at around 145 grams of fat, which I know seems crazy, but it really works for me. I know high fat doesn't work for everyone, but for me, that was really key. So start eating more healthy fats, get up over 100 grams, and you'll find that you will be hungry. I'm ready for the holiday, you guys. Can you tell? You will be sustained and full longer. So the more fat I eat, the less hungry I feel. And as a result, it can really help get over a weight loss stall because you'll be eating less because you'll feel full and satisfied. Here's a really good one, and I was gonna grab my container of nuts and I totally forgot. But if you find that you're using nuts as a snack a lot, you may want to kind of back off on that, or start measuring your nuts for your snacks, because I know for me, I really love to snack on macadamia nuts. I don't do it all the time though, because in a 1/4 cup of macadamia nuts, I think it's like 6 grams of carbs, or it's like 4 grams of carbs. So it's kind of high on the carb scale. So it's good like just to have a few and have a little munch and kind of like get that crunch and that salt in. It is protein, it's good for you. It is fat, it's good for you. But boy, if you're not paying attention, you can eat a cup of nuts and completely destroy your day. And if you're using nuts as your main snack source, I bet you it's probably blowing up, and that could be one of the reasons why maybe you're stuck at a stall. So nuts are a great resource for you. Just make sure you're kind of like paying attention to them, because they do add up fast. Another thing is artificial sweeteners. So you have to be careful, because a lot of the artificial sweeteners are actually not keto friendly. So I know and hopefully I'm not opening a giant can of worms on here, so no fighting or anything, but I know there's like mixed opinion about Splenda. Some people say it's keto, some people say it's not. The reason why it's important to be careful, and it was like really hard for me to understand this in the beginning, because I grew up and my stepmother is a type 2 diabetic, so we always had diet products in the house. And so the idea that some of these sugar-free things that could be bad, I couldn't understand why they wouldn't be keto. You know what I mean? Because they're sugar-free. So just because they're sugar-free doesn't mean that they're necessarily keto, because some of them do actually still have sugar in them. And a lot of them will still spike your blood sugar. So that's the whole point of keto, is you want to stay in ketosis, which is a fat burn state. So sometimes when you have some of these artificial sweeteners, it doesn't matter it's sugar-free, it still spikes your blood sugar and it knocks you out of ketosis, and then all of your hard work is done. So if you're having an awful lot of sweet treats during the week, and you think they're okay just because they're sugar-free and low carb, you may need to kind of like revisit that whole idea, because it's not necessarily the case. So you can have them by all means, but in moderation. You can't keep spiking your blood sugar all week long using the wrong things and then get into a true ketosis. So yeah, Todd, I'm so sorry to hear about your type 1, because that is a hard thing. But thank goodness you're keto, because it's so good for you. I think pure is okay, Karen. I did a great video about the hidden sugars. So if you're curious more about sugar, what to look for, what's approved, what's not approved, you can just go to my page and search for sugar or hidden sugars, and it'll come up, and you can watch that one. Or if you're interested, comment sugar here, and then I'll go tag you in that video. But it's a really great resource. We talk about all the hidden sugars and what kinds of artificial sugars are keto. So then the last actually I have 3 more things here. First thing is check for hidden carbs. So that kind of goes along with the hidden sugars. You know, things like maltodextrin, things like cured bacon. Cured bacon is essentially, marinated in sugar and smoked and all of that. So, if you want to do bacon, you should be looking for uncured bacon. So, I find like a lot of new people don't know that, and they're eating all of this bacon and it's full of sugar, okay? So have to remember to read the backs of labels. If you do have to have something that has sugar in it, try to keep it less than 1 to 2 grams of sugar, or not at all, ideally. And then, of course, make sure you're cutting out processed food. That's something that for me in the beginning was hard to do, but, I went slow with it, and I was kind of gentle with myself, and I almost don't really do processed anymore now. You get used to it. And the last thing is, a lot of people are kind of just eyeballing things. You're not measuring, you're not weighing your foods. So if you've been keto for a little while and you've kind of stopped, you might want to start thinking about, am I really doing a realistic portion? A lot of times when I'm cooking in my kitchen, so I'll do a casserole, let's say, and somebody will say, well, how much is a portion size? I mean, ideally, typically with meats and casseroles and things like that, a portion they usually say is about the size of your fist, about the size of a deck of cards. So it's really tiny. It's not a lot, So things like that, you know, like if I'm gonna have nuts, I always measure my nuts because otherwise I will go way overboard with my carbs in that. So I try not to be too strict. I think it's good in the very beginning to measure and weigh things so you have an idea of what a real portion looks like. And once you're really on track with that, by all means, stop, because I know that sometimes constantly measuring and tracking these things can be unhealthy, especially for people that tend to obsess about it or maybe struggle with eating disorders. I know for me, it can become very obsessive. I counted calories for many years and it went to a very unhealthy level where I literally measured every almond I ate and it was ridiculous. So I'll track once in a while to make sure I'm still where I need to be, but I can't do it full time because it's not healthy for me. And I know a lot of you guys feel that way too. But if you're stuck, measure for like 2 weeks. See what it looks like, and you'll be shocked at how much you realize you're overeating and that you thought you were doing a good job and you didn't really even notice it. So that is everything that I have for you guys tonight. Hopefully you learned a few things about keto and how to keto maybe a little bit more successfully. And then I saw Tamara's comment. I always get her name wrong. Diet Sprite. Diet sodas are the worst, you guys. You need to try and stop that addiction. It is so bad for you. Not only are the chemicals destroying your body, but it definitely spikes your blood sugar. Those are not keto approved sweeteners. So even if you're doing a really great job and you're doing low carb and you're not having sugar, you break all of your hard work as soon as you have a Diet Coke or Pepsi. So yeah, it's going to spike your blood sugar. You'll immediately get kicked out of ketosis. I switched over to, I like the Bubbly brand. They make some really good ones. I usually see them in Walmart. But I really like the lime one. So it's kind of got this, it's got this carbonation. So usually I'll have it with my dinner. And it kind of tastes like a lime, you know, like a lime Sprite just without any sugar. So it's a nice alternative. Typically I just drink water, but I do like to have some flavored seltzers around. So it's going to be really hard at first, but once you kind of break the sugar addiction, you'll find that you're much happier without having it. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Wishing you all a very safe, blessed, happy Thanksgiving with you and your families tomorrow. I'll try and get as many messages out as I can. But thank you all so much for joining me tonight and letting me share these keto, I don't know, ideas and questions with you. So thanks everyone. I'll be back to chat with you again soon. Sending you a big hug and lots of love. Take care.